let's take a look at video game stuff. We'll take a look at this stuff. Let's check out video games. Play some video games ourselves. Well, what's this? Fable developer shuts down 1/3 of their employees. Gaming industry bloodbath continues.
What's up, Space Pirates? What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the obviously awesome Dr. Disaster. And some people may not like this because they don't want to be forced to compete, but the beauty of the free market is that businesses who fail to identify what customers want get what's coming to them.
You're fired!
In the gaming industry,
right.
many businesses think they can dictate to gamers what we are going to enjoy. Eidos Montreal is a business which has done this for a long time. They were tag team partners with Crystal Dynamics back in 2013, helping with the redesign of Tomb Raider. They've had a few solid games, but it's been mostly misses over the last decade or so, punctuated by the failure of Marvel's
Avengers,
the
that
live
didn't go too
service
well.
and microtransaction
Yeah, I even bought that
swamp
game. It was a
that
waste of
failed
money.
miserably. And apparently, they've done some work on the upcoming Fable game as well, whose trailer has been ripped by gamers in a big way. They haven't even released a game since 2021. With all of this in mind, it is no wonder that this studio just announced another round of layoffs.
Congratulations, you're a failure.
Eidos Montreal just announced they are letting go of 75 employees, marking the second time they've had to let go of people in this young year.
What's gonna happen
the
to that
first time
IP
around, they let go of 97 employees, and now, considering that this is a studio
I didn't
which
even finish
reportedly
the
had
last one.
just under
I think I got
500
like
employees back in 2022,
a third through
when
it,
they
and
were
I was just like,
acquired
yeah.
by the Embracer Group, this means that only about 2/3 of their people remain. This is most likely going to be a familiar headline this year, as game studios for the past few years have consistently put out titles that just don't identify with gamers. They believed they could dictate to us what we would enjoy without any regard for
they
the
want you to
demographics
enjoy
of their
the
majority male
slop.
customer base,
Yes.
and without any regard for
Eat
whether
the
we
slop.
wanted more live service and microtransaction nonsense. And
Eat
as a result,
from the
the
trough,
past few years
you
has
filthy
seen a
swines.
bloodbath. And for studios like this, Eidos Montreal, whose work has been so out of touch with what gamers enjoy, we have a little message for you.
So long, gay boy!
Well, other channels do that? None. Get the fuck out of here. I don't like it. There you go. Fast forward his intro.
Alrighty, hearties, make sure to like this video, and don't forget to support the channel by becoming a member. There are several exciting projects coming up I can't wait to bring you, which channel members will have first crack at, including audiobook of a novel I've written and a space pirate cartoon which is in the works. The best way to support this work, to help push the sort of things that we want to see in our culture, is to become a member. But in any event, let's talk about the layoffs at Eidos Montreal. This isn't particularly surprising because, as I said before, this is a studio which hasn't released anything since 2021, and most of their recent games have been real turds. I've heard that the Guardians of the Galaxy game they put out was fine, but after the Marvel's Avengers live service microtransaction debacle, there was no chance I was going to give Guardians a shot. Well, apparently, those chickens have come home to roost, because so far this year, the studio has lost over 1/3 of their employees who work there. But let's read about it in this article here from GameRanks. The article says, as reported by Video Games Chronicle, the studio shared this message on LinkedIn. Today, we informed our studio staff that we are going to let go up to 75 valuable members as one of our mandates is coming to an end. It is not a reflection of their dedication or skills, but unfortunately, we don't have the capacity to entirely reallocate them to our other ongoing projects and services. Never mind the fancy talk and the euphemisms, allow me to translate. They don't have the cash flow to support these people, and they don't have the work to justify keeping them on. So, they are making moves to ensure the entire studio doesn't go under. One thing to throw out there, this has been a studio that had a pretty steady flow of games, which would come out about every other year or so, but all of that stopped after 2021. They won't have a new game released until 2026 with Fable, and even then, they are just a support studio on that game. Now, a part of this may be due to the absolute failure of Avengers from 2020. The only game they've released since then was Guardians of the Galaxy in 2021, but clearly, that title was already in development. They may have had trouble getting greenlit for projects after Avengers, but it also may be that the Embracer Group has simply mismanaged them.
Oh yeah, Embracer Group is kind of
acquired the studio in 2022 as part of a larger deal where they acquired a bunch of property from Square Enix. And as is often the case with these sorts of blockbuster deals, some of these smaller studios become afterthoughts. It may be that Embracer simply didn't know what to do with them. I suspect it's a combination of these two factors. This is a studio with access to some pretty iconic IP, namely Deus Ex and Thief. A few years back, it was reported that they were starting work on a new Deus Ex, but it has been radio silence ever since.
I played the reboot of Thief back when it released on, what was it, PS4?
Eidos Montreal announced layoffs of 97 staff just this January. At the time, they made the expected explanation that it was due to the unfavorable economic conditions of the video game industry, as well as the restructuring undertaken by its parent company, the now infamous Embracer Group. This time, they made reference to an end of one of our mandates. While they did not reveal what the mandate is, we suspect we know what it is. It may be the long-rumored Deus Ex game that was also rumored to be cancelled. To be clear, although Embracer Group stated that they were done with their restructuring, this could be considered one of the remaining unfinished pieces of business related to that restructuring process. Since they didn't officially announce a new Deus Ex, Eidos Montreal doesn't have to confirm that they canceled such a project. That also means that we can't be really sure what future plans they have for the franchise. So my guess is that this isn't the case. I'm fairly sure that after 4 years without a new game of any kind, and with only a project they worked on as a support studio on the horizon for the foreseeable future, it would be unlikely that they wouldn't just shutter the whole damn studio if they didn't have this Deus Ex game to work on. No, I'm willing to bet that the mandate that ended was work on Fable. After all, that game comes out sometime next year, and it is likely that Playground no longer needs them to keep working on the game. Things are likely wrapping up for Fable. At a glance, I'd say that Eidos Montreal is in a similar state to a studio like BioWare. They don't have a disappointment quite as bad as the likes of Dragon Age the Veilguard, though Avengers may give it a run for its money. But, like BioWare, the studio has been stripped nearly to its bare bones, and it's likely they are throwing out one last Hail Mary with a familiar IP to save the company. BioWare is doing that with Mass Effect, and Eidos Montreal is likely doing that with Deus Ex. But who knows? I'm going to leave it there.
I mean, it's already bad
What
enough
do you think about these layoffs?
That the first impression wasn't
How much more of a bloodbath
that great,
do you foresee in the gaming industry
we'll
over
see.
The next year?
We haven't even
Drop
seen
your thoughts
gameplay
into
of
the
it
comment
yet,
section
technically.
below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.
Yeah, arcades do a fucking golem. they, they stuck them with golem and it turned into crap. Oh yeah, John Boyega. Yeah, apparently he was like hating on the. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I went over that yesterday, but he was like he was being like kind of racist towards the fans or some shit. He was being a racist. He should be fucking worrying about his goddamn employers and the Hollywood doing that shit to him. It had nothing to do with the fans. It has everything to do with the socio-political atmosphere of certain countries and businesses and industry. But he's just got to lash out at someone. All right, what's going on with Cohh? Oh, I guess it has something to do with AC shit. Well, what's happening?
How dare you take a lukewarm stance on this? You need to pick a side. Listen to both sides. Most of the time, both sides are wrong. How the hell did this make it out
You're
of
wrong.
our company? So I'm
No,
not really sure
you.
what to think anymore. I managed to make everyone
You
angry
did
with
it.
what I did with ACS.
Oh,
Nobody's happy.
How did you do that? What?
As of now, he's moved on to a different game, lol. He is not playing more of this game. That's all you need to know. Sadly, fully missing the point of the controversy. That's and thumbs down for downplaying it. A game that you don't even expect to finish is not okay. It's bad. The way he said it's fine sounded so disappointed. It's fine. Proceed to not finish it. Come on.
What'd you do?
So I went into Assassin's Creed Shadows, as a lukewarm Assassin's Creed fan. And I went in specifically, I didn't do any sponsor streaming. Ubisoft has given up on me. They didn't even offer me a sponsor stream for it.
Okay.
And I went in for myself and I said, okay, I want to see
Oh
if
wow,
this game
Ubisoft
is enough
gave
for
up
me
on Cohh.
as
Didn't know about
somebody
that.
who is relatively tired
That's insane.
of the AC franchise.
Oh, maybe didn't he do? I don't know. I don't.
I want to see if there was enough in there to bring me back. Maybe it's going to
I
be
thought
another
he
Black
did
Flag.
other,
Maybe get me back into Assassin's Creed. So I played
Assassin's
it for
Creed,
a stream, and it was
sponsorships.
okay.
I
And then
guess
the
you
next
didn't.
day, I started another stream of it, and about halfway through it, I felt like I was starting to get the vibe of it, and I was starting to realize that I didn't think it was really going to have what I wanted, and I turned off Assassin's Creed and started playing Rise of the Ronin. Now, what I did was I made a thoughts video. I said in that thoughts video,
Well, that was your
Okay,
problem. How
here's
dare
the
you
deal.
have an opinion on
I was
the
like, here's the
internet?
deal. I was like, the game is fine. It's not doing enough for me. Like, it's got a few
Mhm.
problems here and there. I ran into a few bugs. Game is fine.
Yeah,
but
oh,
I'm-
yeah.
I'm
Yeah, apparently there was some other people running into this kind of bug where it was just the game just stopped loading. Like you would stop fighting enemies for like the enemies weren't moving. Some areas would just it felt like it deloaded the area for some reason, and it just had all the enemies not moving. It was weird. It was like
did not
something
pull
was
me
not
back in.
processing.
And there's a whole
the-
other discussion.
the
Like
back end
Ubisoft
properly.
Afford fine, but I was like, yeah, the game's okay.
Whether
the
it
game's
was,
fine,
it looked
but
like it was the back.
It's not.
I don't
fine
know
enough
if it
for
was
me
the
to
front
play.
end or the
I'm gonna
back
play Rise
end,
of the
but
Ronin.
whichever
I made
end
a
it is,
comment
it's
that
fucked.
I've not really been following the controversy with the
It
historical
could be
stuff,
both.
but like I didn't really care personally. That doesn't really affect me. So whatever. I
Uh-huh.
heard Ubi had made like maybe a claim about it, but I didn't really know too much. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna move on, and that's done. That managed to make every side angry. The people that like Assassin's Creed were yelling at me for not giving it a good enough thing and being a hater. The other side was telling me, like, how dare you take a lukewarm stance
No,
on
you
this?
cannot
need to
be a
pick side.
centrist,
It's
Cohh.
not fine.
It's
what
not
Ubisoft
okay.
is doing.
You
This
must
is
pick a
garbage. So
side.
they all got furious at me. Then there was a third group that was apparently, I said in the video, like, I'm not really sure what's going on, but I heard about the historical
choose.
controversy. One thing I didn't know about the historical controversy was apparently, like, Ubisoft really came out saying, we're going to try to make this historically accurate. So
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't think Cohh knows the socio-political background of what's been happening to this game. And he's getting the fucking backlash for no reason. He's just trying to try out the game and play it. No, you must come into the fold. Oh man, it's like a fucking cultist religion trying to fucking suck you in. It's so stupid.
Kind of like with the PoE devs we talked about in the past, like sometimes say like you should have just not said that and just done your own thing because then you set expectations. Like that's what happened there. And I definitely did not realize it was to that degree. I looked into it a little bit more after seeing some of the comments in the video.
Oh
and
yeah, see, that's what Odin didn't know about. Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, yeah, I mean, look, some people don't want to read into the news and journalist stories because some of them it's so brain dead to fucking go through some of the takes on this fucking issue, right? And it's not even, it has more so to deal with the fucking Japanese culture and yeah, and how fucking Ubisoft presented the fucking, right? How they sold it, essentially. That's like, oh, fuck. Yeah, I mean, it's not Cohh's fault, but yeah, people are kind of upset. Super upset.
Ubi probably shouldn't have said any of that. Like, they kind of really shot themselves
Yeah, they did shoot
the foot, like, trying to do this historical angle, because all they did was set expectations.
Yeah, not only that, but they could have fixed... Right, they had every chance to fix it very easily too. They could have just talked to the they could have just, called, "Hey Japan, how's it going?" I don't know.
They're not gonna be able to meet, even with a canon mode. You're gonna piss people off. So anyway, that's that. So
I mean, they could have taken a
like,
weekend to
"Here's
some
my honest opinion
museums
on
in
it," I
Japan.
have,
I don't
made the
fucking
entire
know, man.
It happens.
Here's the
I
big
don't
thing.
think they
Like,
did
and
their
people keep
research
telling me,
properly.
like, pick a side, right? Like, why are you being so diplomatic? All of this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand. I'm like one of the only streamers that didn't do a sponsor stream for it. Like they've already given up on me. I have no reason to appease anyone. I have no reason to.
I think Asmongold showed off who actually got like
the point
sponsorships
is that
for
it is a fine game.
Assassin's
It ran
Creed.
well. It's very.
I don't know if
pretty.
he actually like,
everything
put
it
that
was
on
trying
his,
to do, it does. Like you
on his
can't look at the
YouTube. He
game
might
and
have.
not be like it's
Possibly.
running. Like I played
Actually, most
10,000
likely.
plus games over my life. There's some really shitty games out there. Like broken design, does not work. Maybe it's just too long. Maybe like there's thousands of reasons that games are just not good. The time I played this, I didn't really run into.
I mean,
anything
yeah,
that makes
just
me
look at Stalker 2 when it first released, riddled with bugs, riddled. Fucking, there was even issues with the back end, right? It was fucking memory leaks, and it was literally ramping up people's PCs for some reason. It ramped up my PC. It fucking blew out my goddamn CPU. I mean, not CPU, my power supply. I was like, what the fuck?
So this is a bad game outside of a few bugs, of course. I just didn't really run into anything that was like, I need to keep playing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like people who are just like totally jumping
Yeah, I
on
mean,
me
I
for
want to
saying
go
the game
back
is
to
fine. It's like,
Stalker
I don't
2.
really understand
I mean,
when you
I
see a
gotta
game like
go
this.
back
You know,
to a
there's
lot of
probably
games.
thousands of people who
I
made it
haven't been
possible.
able
Level
to
designers,
since
artists,
fucking,
sound engineers, musicians, all these people. Like I would argue most
university.
of them did a fine job with this game. Like, of course, there's some decisions at the top and monetization, all sorts of problems, and that we could get into.
Yeah,
but it's
honestly,
really
there's.
weird to me how
I hate
much
to say it, but there's just way better games right now than ACU. Right? Assassin's Creed, as of right now, there's just way better games.
people want others
don't
to
play
not
this
pass
shit
on the game,
game.
but to actively hate the game.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
they're not happy unless
until
you feel
Ubisoft goes
negatively
back
about
to the
everything
drawing
the
board
product
before they
is.
fucking
Not
crash
just,
out.
not just a part of it, not a specific thing.
They're
They don't want
not
to have a
surviving.
discussion about what could be better. They just want you to feel the way they do, and that's their goal. And
Yeah.
that's unfortunate, man.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
unfortunate.
that's the state.
I mean, this is coming from somebody who didn't even really who put the
Yeah, I think nowadays, I don't know. I don't know why it shifted. Like, where companies are just trying to force you to like the game, even though you have issues with it. I don't know, man. I just don't want to like it. I don't know why you guys are forcing me to like this. No, I don't want to like it.
the game down.
Fuck
You
off.
know, and I'm still just like, it's unfortunate that we can't like vocally talk about why we don't like it instead of
Yeah.
just vocally hate it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I feel like that would make things.
Yeah,
move
it's
so
like
much
they're
in a better
trying to
direction.
stifle
This isn't it,
your
man.
freedom.
Yeah,
of-
it's just
It's
freedom of
unstoppable force
speech
meets a
or
movable
your
object.
opinion.
The older
in a
I get,
sense. It's
the
like,
more I
what
realize how insanely important it
you
is
guys
to
doing?
listen to both sides and come up with your own opinion. And the more you do that, the more you realize that most of the time, both sides are wrong. Like most of the time, both sides have like some major fundamental issues in some degree that you may agree or not agree with. And you don't want to like wholesale out on each one of them. Like there's so much more nuance than people give this stuff credit for. And it's really unfortunate how many people want to stomp that nuance out.
It's exhausting nowadays. Just talking about not just games but anything. Like you have to be vehemently for it or vehemently hating it. There's no room for anything in the middle. Everything from politics to food to movies to just like there's no middle anymore. Everyone's sensationalism. They want to like you to either rave about a game or just
You must
trash it
react
down.
harder.
No walk in the middle of the road. No like liking something. No like saying something's not for you. You just have to like be passionate about it because they want that like that dopamine hit from people like getting them either
React
angry or
harder.
super excited.
Or agreeing with them, or reinforcing their opinion. Being like, oh yeah, I am
you
right
do
in
it
how I feel
now.
about this. And the worst part is all the discussion, all the really interesting stuff, all the stuff that could make these games better, all of that takes place in the middle when those sides are talking to each other. Like that's where the discussion is. The discussion doesn't happen with each side yelling at each other from their side. Like it happens when people come together and are like, okay, I understand you don't like it. Why don't you like it? I like it because of this. You don't like it because of that. Let's talk about how we can get better. What can change? You know, like so they're shooting themselves in the foot by doing that. Like we're just gonna keep doing this cycle. Like, it sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm blocking code.
I do feel there is almost like this game can be fit into the same box that like Call of Duty is. There's like a huge group of people that just buy it because they want that experience and then they'll never engage in everything we were just talking about. No.
Dude, I'm the exact same way with Yakuza. Like,
I mean,
some,
it was kind of
the
the same with
and it's interesting because like this has
Battlefield.
brought up a whole side of like
Yeah,
when
some
is
of
it,
these
when is it not okay
some
for
of
a
these
game this
games have
expensive
turned
with this
into
many
that.
resources
Yeah,
to be
right.
okay for a
Yakuza.
lot of people.
I don't
And
want to say
that
Yakuza
is like the other
has
side of the
fucking
argument for
turned
games
into
like
that,
about
but it kind of
Borderlands,
has.
where it's like if they were to change too much
Yakuza.
Borderlands, people would stop playing it.
Sorry.
And there's also people about Assassin's Creed that are
I went,
raving
like,
about this
full
game
English on
being
the
exactly
first-
how it is. So it's like, you know, for someone like me who is going, this is not enough at all. You know, what about the other side where it's like people are like, yeah, but don't change it any more than it is. It's like, where do we go from there?
I've always wished they would just do a modern day Assassin's Creed with no Animus, just like to try it out to see like if you're fighting the Templars. but
Yeah,
in
I
modern
think
day
the
city
whole
with modern
Animus
day tech
part
and stuff.
threw
I think that's just
everyone
Watch
for a
Dogs.
loop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Watch Dogs might
I
have
think
been.
that was their test.
Oh yeah,
have been
Watch
that test,
Dogs.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it could
think
be.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take the wind out of your sails there. Because I agree.
No,
I think
yeah,
that,
it's
like having
true.
like an actual modern day AC would be cool, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we ever get there.
Yeah,
I wonder if they would
had the
do
same
that.
exact
But it
thought,
yeah,
like,
it had
what,
guns in it.
What would that even look like? Would
I
it?
mean,
Would they just use?
You'd have to use
guns,
tech.
or
Yeah,
would
you'd
it
have
be
to
tech
use, like-
related. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't just ignore that stuff in that day and age, right? So
yeah.
post-apocalyptic AC. See, that way you could go like past.
So
all
that
the-
Yeah,
like,
I
Templars
think-
been a big,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
the issue-
Templars win.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
issue
yes.
is you're making a game and they made like a modern right. You kind of when creating a game, it's hard to say what you want to do or how much limitations do you want on the player, and how much freedom do you want, right? It's like some of these games, they don't give you a lot of freedom in a sense, or they don't give you the freedom that some people think you should get.
Go
Okay.
off. Apple is used, and then
I mean,
like
you can
it's
see it
super
with people
futuristic,
who
but takes
are
place in like
very
a dystopian world.
people
So
who
you can't
don't
use
play
guns and
video
stuff, 'cause all
games a
bullets have
lot,
already been shot, and they're not
and they
making
try
more.
to do certain
but he's
actions,
melee
and
weapons and stuff, but it's all
it doesn't
futuristic and
click to
sci-fi.
them that
I'm
they're
there for it.
unable to do
Numbers
that because
are-
the programmers didn't code that specifically, because coding like actual real life actions to do certain things is not very practical gaming logic, basically.
Or I think they said something along the lines of bigger than Odyssey and Origins. They didn't mention Valhalla. I think Valhalla was
They
like
said it's
Perfect
on the
Storm.
way to be the biggest Assassin's Creed release.
Okay, got it.
Here's the important thing that we need to understand, though, that everyone needs to understand. Nobody who says any of that has any idea what a success looks like to Ubisoft.
Right.
Mhm.
So, like, it does. How much Ubisoft says they've raised means nothing. What's on the Steam
Yeah.
chart means absolutely nothing. What matters is what Ubisoft has told their investors and how much the delta is between the actual and that. It's all that matters, and no one knows that. So anyone who's shouting like, "Oh, look at this, Ubisoft's gonna die," or "Oh, look at this, they're totally fine," none of them know what they're talking about. So, like, we don't even know what 2 million players means.
Yeah.
They didn't say 2 million sales. So it's like we don't, like, everything is obfuscated right now. We all just kind of got to sit tight. It's probably going to take at least a couple weeks or even a couple months until we hear anything from Ubi actually if this is okay or not okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Also, someone's bringing up a really good point in chat. It's like sales could mean nothing if the microtransactions sell well enough.
Totally,
and that's
Sure,
that's
that too. Yeah,
absolutely
the
a reality.
microtransactions.
100%.
We haven't seen
Yeah.
the microtransactions.
So I mean, it's
sales.
again, none of the public information now matters. in any
Yeah,
argument,
exactly.
Yeah.
if you look
Because
into it.
right, they still have
The
their
ARK
own
DLC
internal
trailer
numbers that
is
they're
apparently
checking that we don't know.
entirely made through generative AI, I guess.
This is getting weird. Have you
Okay.
heard
Oh, was that the
stuff from
fucking-
this?
No,
Was that what I think it was? The fucking Ark Yeah, dude, I knew it.
I'm
Fucking
reading
Ark
the headline
Survival.
now, so please tell me.
So
They-
from
yeah, the
apparently
devs
the
of that
devs
game
are saying they had
are
nothing
kinda
to do
cooked
with
now.
it, and then Snail Games said they had nothing to do with it. So it's like now everyone's pointing.
Oh, they had
how the
nothing
hell
to
did this
do
make
with it?
out
Oh.
of our
Uh-oh.
company. So
Oh,
I'm not really sure what to think anymore. Like, who
What
knows
is
who's
going
being
on?
truthful here?
it's the official GDC trailer 2025. The entire contents of the trailer, this is Insider Gaming reporting, entire contents of the trailer reveal nothing about the expansion. It's just a visual reel that shows janky AI characters exploring some kind of water-themed underworld. In one sequence, a character fires a harpoon gun, and it's so bizarre, it's a wonder this thing managed to pass muster at Snail Games. If you look at the feet,
Yeah,
on
you
this
could see
diver,
it more.
they look like flippers made out of skin.
What are those? Ugh.
And he also doesn't have hands. He just has like his arm is like a nub, and then it has like another nub attached to it.
It's a
Oh.
travesty, man. Actual travesty.
Why would they use that? I'm just out of curiosity. Like, what is
Probably
the
I'll tell you why.
logic behind that?
I don't know.
A deadline is why. It's
Mm.
probably like they found
it's
out
a- it's
they
a
found out a PR company found out
beautiful
they needed a trailer the night
fucking
before
flesh
GDC that they didn't think they
or
actually needed, so
digital
they had to throw
demon.
something together and get it to their boss by 12
Whatever the
p.m. and it was
fuck
10.
it.
So I'm pretty sure that's how something like that happened. And another thing is, like I said, like both the devs and apparently that and Snail, like the two big companies associated with it, both have said they have nothing to do with it. So it looks like it may have been done by just some PR
Some
offshoot
random person,
kind of thing, trying
yeah,
to
some
get something done in time.
person
Now, one would then
is
argue,
making jokes.
how is your GDC trailer not prioritized, or why are you offloading that to a company you don't trust? You know, that's kind of on you, not them. But yeah, it's a different discussion.
That indeed, that indeed. I'm trying to find the. Did I? What did I do? Do I still have it on here? That's not. Is that it? Oh yeah, here it is. Right here, the unit sales. Right. Now this is just on PS4 and PS5. But yeah, we need those numbers, all the unit sales. Also, we also need to look at the microtransaction purchases, because definitely people fucking paid for that shit. Definitely people paid for that. Alright, anyways, and then what's going on with Discord is changing. These leaks tell us why. Oh, I forgot to, oh.
And that's something we already knew from 2024, but Discord wants to go public, and that's something we already knew from 2024, but what's now changed is that the Financial Times have got sources who say the Discord are actively talking to banks, and that means that it's not a desire, it is a plan that they are progressing along. And if none of this would impact us as users, in a way we wouldn't care. But it will impact users. It arguably has. Things are changing on the app literally right now. And if you've smelled whiffs of
the
enshittification,
new stuff
it's
on
not
that.
because
Yeah,
you've
I saw
gone
some of
mad.
that
It's
stuff.
because you're a human. We know what enshittification
Yeah,
is. We know
the
patterns.
boxes,
and we really
then
hope
the
Discord
game
doesn't
stuff
go
that I
bad.
saw.
We also know that Discord fundamentally has a problem. Money. That's the problem Discord has.
Money,
But in a
money.
way, it's a problem that they always knew they would have. You see, often
Money.
success is about picking your problem, right? What you're kind of willing to have as an issue. And being a venture-backed tech company, Discord's problem, the thing that they sacrificed, was short-term profitability. And that might sound completely insane, but it's actually typical and it is a real business model. For something like Discord, the value is in users. So there's no point over monetizing a small social network if what you really want to do is grow, and then once you're huge, then generate mad returns, but not necessarily through the company being super profitable. Oh no. Generate mad returns for investors and shareholders by either being acquired by another larger company or by going public. It's very much the typical model, and for Discord, that meant them raising $1 billion across 17 funding rounds over the last while. I'll return to that money soon, but you needed that context of money as a problem, that they've raised all this venture money, to basically understand what's coming next.
How
It's
dare
the
you-
vital context.
All right.
Because if you thought the Discord Nitro boosts and cosmetics were enough for an app like this to really work, you'd be wrong. Because Discord are about to massively expand ads. Advertisements are going to hit Discord mobile this June. Of course, they've been on desktop since last year. And for Discord, they are genuinely a key to the future. Look, here's the thing. I don't like it, by the way, but advertisements do work. That's why RuneScape is even toying with them for its free tier. It's why premium streaming services have now got ads, even on a paid tier. Straight up, if a company just wants more money, ads are the go-to solution, assuming the
They are
audience
here
is
to stay.
entrenched and sticky. And if it's something where, you know, it's the only place you can get your TV show conveniently, or say Discord where all your friends are, yeah, you're probably going to tolerate ads. So as a business model, it makes sense. And in fairness to Discord, their ads are not like most. They actually try to do them well. They've got this whole branding about them being quests, and there's in-app cosmetics. That's decently high effort, right? They're smart enough. They're fairly inoffensive. But importantly for brands, they're action, they're results driven, they're very trackable. That is amazing for brands actually tracking what their ad spending is even doing. It's very important. Say if you're an ad buyer and you want to have good numbers you can show to a higher up in the office. And Discord also has another thing. It is massive in demographics that are traditionally harder to reach through conventional marketing channels. That is a huge value. It's the sort of value you'd want to demonstrate if you planned to go public. But here's the thing. I thought we were going to talk about Discord ads for a bit and talk about some of the basic businessy things. The basic story of platform good, platform grow, platform is venture funded, ads and enshittification
Line
will
go
follow
up?
is still there. But what I did
Line
not
go up.
expect was the grand
All the
strategy,
lines go
the
up.
chess that they're playing, and everything else that we dig up. Being nice to have is one thing, but being essential to have is another thing. And Discord wants to be essential, not just to you and me, but also to the industry. So to do that, they have a plan to become a piece of vital internet infrastructure. Now, we've already seen some of this, but only in the form of little nice to haves, like having a game integration that means, oh, you can see the final circle in PUBG on Discord if your friends are playing the game. That's hardly vital. That's hardly something you can pitch to the world as being transformational for your business. So how about this instead? Discord as your entire social system. And it means that rather than being a nice to have, it's them literally running part of a game. So it's called the Discord Social SDK. And honestly, it's a pretty genius plan. And it is an area ripe for disruption. So as the name suggests, it's an SDK. It's a developer tool. And put simply, it is a complete off-the-shelf system that will handle friends lists, game invites, text chat, and voice chat, all without needing a Discord login. It will all be ran on Discord. It is Discord, but actually logging into Discord isn't required. Though, of course, if you do log into Discord, you'll get extra features. Now, obviously, I then think about what Discord has done with having cosmetics. Oh,
yeah,
there
they
you
changed
go.
it a lot.
Natural, deep integration. That's the kind of thing you can really sell an investor on. So basically, it's free, cross-platform social infrastructure that works out of the box and can run that whole system for your video game. And so far, the developers behind Rust, Splitgate 2, and Theorycraft Games being
PAX
the company,
Day, yeah.
they've had early access, but the overall thing is now public for everybody. And in terms of competition, Steam Voice Chat, the Battle.net apps voice chat, I mean, things that exist but aren't really fantastic. And yes, Steam does more. You can join your friends, and that's the sort of thing that this will actually support with the new Discord system. But the point basically is, Steam is very much tied to a storefront. That means that it can't really be as ubiquitous as something like Discord can be. And since so many people already use Discord, I can very much imagine users actually asking developers for this system to be used. But remember the context of this story.
Discord integrated
wants to go public.
systems.
And to go public successfully, they will need
I mean, there's
to
already
demonstrate humongous
there's
growth
already
potential.
video
And that's what-
games that Right, do Twitch integrated system. Right, why not try to integrate Discord in a sense? They can team up with Discord or something like that, right? Yeah, they could do that. Right, API stuff like that.
By moving beyond just having users and towards being digital
They
infrastructure.
could if they
is
want to make
such
money.
a
I don't know how much
well-tuned
money they can
move to
make, but they-
accomplish their goals. It's vital to their plan. But with all of this,
Especially if they
we still
want to
have that worry. That worry
Discord
of
a big
shitifying
company.
Discord. Let's return to the money. With what you've just heard, this will matter a hell of a lot more, and it's actually a more dramatic story than I kind of expected. Okay, do you remember how the pandemic drove stock markets absolutely mad?
Wild.
So Discord very much thought they were part of that vanguard of future companies, right? Where it was always going to be work from home. Everyone's using Zoom on their Peloton. The world has changed and
Yeah,
it's
Zoom
never
went
going
up
back.
in
At
stock.
that
A
time,
lot of
Discord
these
thought of themselves as the community hub for
lot
the
of these,
world, right?
video
More than
platforms
just
went up
gaming,
in
they
stock.
very much wanted to grow radically beyond where they had started. That didn't really come to pass. They very much now realize they are a social app for gaming. That means for them that infinite user growth would not happen. And that suddenly means that strange concepts like profit and loss actually started to become important to them. Because of that, Discord
Really?
axed 17% of their headcount as a part of a plan to be
I guess that's
profitable
because
by
everyone started
2024.
going back to work,
But
and then
in
they
the
couldn't
last year,
spend any
it
more
seems
money.
things have only escalated. So
Used
the
it all.
Financial Times say that they are now talking to banks in order to fund going public. 2024 saw advertisements become a thing. 2025 is seeing those move over to mobile. On the whole going public thing, for their part, Discord
Do you
are
guys not
publicly
have any
downplaying
phones?
that that's what they're trying to do. But that's actually exactly what you would do if you wanted to go public, but didn't want rampant speculation to overhype their valuation. And in this case, well, we've got robust sourcing from the Financial Times that says they're literally talking to the banks. And the valuation
Mother
number will
Russia.
actually matter
Oh,
here. So, as I said earlier,
you.
they've had $1 billion in funding across 17 rounds. So here's how those investors get their tasty returns. Option number one is to be acquired, and Microsoft allegedly offered them $12 billion in 2021, but they rejected. So I guess no Microsoft Teams gaming for us. Thank God, that would have been horrible. Option two then is to go public. That very much seems to be the plan, and if you watched our video on Thunderful lately, you'll know where that kind of thing can go.
Oops.
Now certainly that Discord rejected a $12 billion offer. That certainly
Yeah,
implies
so
either they
it doesn't
really didn't want
go
Microsoft or
as
they
planned
believe
sometimes,
actually
right?
have a fair valuation way higher. But that $12 billion offer was in 2021. As of right now, they do have a valuation of about $15 billion, so at least for me, it'll be damn interesting to see, whenever they do go public, what they're actually going to be able to raise. But okay, what does this actually mean for you and for me? Yeah, it's time to
Yes.
talk about enshittification.
What does
As we've
it
seen
mean?
so many times in this channel, things fundamentally change whenever you go public.
Because the
Because what
qualities
happens then
of
is
games
everything is
going
laid bare
down.
for the public and investors to
In a
pick
sense,
apart.
yes.
But more
Qualities of
importantly,
games
the
are going down.
demands of those investors change.
At least they're
So
not
if
spending
you're a traditional
the,
old
I guess,
business,
the dev
maybe
time
what people
needed
want is a
to
juicy
build out
dividend
some of these
increase.
systems
But
a
if you're
little
a modern tech
bit
company,
out more.
maybe you'll be seen as what's called a
Or
growth
they're,
stock, where it's not about dividends, it's about
putting
pushing
in
up that
too
stock
much,
price. And for
stuff
Discord to be a
to
growth
where
stock,
they have to
which
like,
naturally is its place as a
right?
tech
They
company,
kind of
I'd
have
say,
to like
it will need to constantly show great
take out
execution
some of that stuff,
while
so it hurts
dangling
them in the
a
end a little bit.
juicy new carrot over every quarter as much as they can. And not just a small juicy carrot that will drive some revenue. No. Large, strategic carrots. The sorts of things that let them tell stories to investors of transformational growth. That's why the SDK, the idea of Discord basically running social infrastructure in games, is actually goddamn huge. While their ads expanding is great, you want to have multiple layers at which you can have that big transformational growth. And what lies at the heart of that growth is you. It is your value as a user. And frankly, the leverage that they have
You
over
will
you, not necessarily in
fuel
an
it.
evil way, but if
Your
they run the infrastructure that
energy
is
is
your game's
these-
social network, they run your friend
Your
groups, the
blood
Discord
will
server, obviously,
sustain it
it's
all.
going to be hard for you to move. You could move personally, but are you really going to convince all of your internet friends to leave Discord? And even if you do convince your close friends to leave, what if you're playing a game with other people who are on Discord? it's very, very hard to leave. And that's why
You
moves
gotta
that
keep
make
that
money
retention
off you
on it,
being
right?
on Discord are fundamentally important here. But the thing is, being public cuts both ways. I've just talked up the story of showing big growth potential, but let's say numbers don't look good. Let's say earnings growth or earnings per share
Uh-oh,
or
what
margin
if numbers don't
go
go
down.
up? Uh-oh.
That's shocking. That's
No, it
scary.
must
And that's
go up.
exactly the sort of thing that leads to damaging
Must not
cost
lie,
savings,
it
right?
must go-
Short-term cuts, cutting your nose to spite your face, new monetization schemes, and all sorts of lunacy that we are now used to. And I think the
Liar!
best example of that is ads.
Liar!
Discord have done ads in a way that I would say is well designed, fairly thoughtful, and with a decent amount of care,
what?
and also a decent amount of user
Ah.
control. That's because they did adverts on their own terms, with their own goals and incentives, which were longer term about showing growth, likely to successfully go public. But if investors need a lot of money now, if they need to turn around their story as a company, will they have the time to do ads in a thoughtful way that actually works with users?
I mean, given
Or will
how
it be
ads are
short-term
right now, I don't
money
think
need
so.
now because the C-suite are under a
You
lot,
will
a
never
lot
be
of
able to
pressure
do
from
ads
investors
in a
and analysts.
right in
That is how
a
going public fundamentally
way that
changes
will
the sorts of decisions that a
not
company
make
makes
people hate it.
and goals that they have. Hang on a second though, we gotta stop. We gotta have a
Literally.
reality check. The truth is that Discord is basically
The cost of being
incredible.
free,
Compared to
nothing
where
is
things were
free
in
in
the
this
past,
world.
it's
I'm
essentially a
sorry.
piece of magic. I mean, I remember the days of
Nothing
Ventrilo,
is
of
free.
Xfire. Remember Xfire? To be as huge as Discord, with as many features, and all of those essentially free, is absolutely
I mean, it
wild.
may be free
I mean,
to an
Slack's
extent,
cheapest
but at
offering
that
is
point,
£7 a month.
that's up for the
Teams
law
is
to decide,
£3.10
right?
a month. Campsite looked promising, but it was for work, and Notion bought it and then shut it down. And there are other options, some free and open source ones, like Revolt. Revolt is free, open source, very Discord-like, but it's also still
Yeah,
very
there's
much
a
in development.
what's that other one?
And
Slack
anything would
that
have to get past
schools
Discord's
use.
moat. The fact that we're all
I'm
real
actually
bought
using
into
that right
Discord.
now
In
for
some
school.
cases, we've even bought cosmetics or had a Nitro subscription. And that would make changing away feel bad. You see, the best way to be directly aligned with your users is to make money directly
Or the
for them, to have them
university.
literally pay for your software. We live in a world, though, where people kind of demand free, but then adverts are kind of broadly
Free? You
hated.
demand
I
free?
feel like
I'm
across the world,
sorry.
this is coming to a head.
Free?
Because if
You
people are
must
directly
pay
paying
with
for the
your
software they're
blood.
using, then as a developer, you're focusing on features and the experience of that
Play
customer,
with your
not
blood.
necessarily new schemes or expanding your scope, which of course we have seen Discord have to do. Is there a world where Discord
should've taken
does
my
not
knife
have
out.
to do ads, where it does not
Been
have to
more
do
meta.
this SDK, where actually just off the back of Nitro, it can be what it needs to be for gamers and have good incentives? Is that actually
This ain't no
possible?
Oblivion,
Maybe
okay?
it is, maybe it isn't. But in the world of going public,
Uh,
where the line must
stop.
go up, it's not possible. Because the funding model that leads to Discord even existing in the first
criminal.
place essentially hinges on a big IPO or a big acquisition payday. And that means the development has got to feed into a growth narrative, and that is the recipe for enshittification. I hope Discord gets this right, because what they've built is a genuinely incredible piece of software and an incredible service. It would be sad to see it go wrong. And to learn another story of Valve's algorithm and what we learned about it when we dig through the data, what it gets right, and some problems that it's solving that are actually new problems, watch this video next.
Alright, there you have it. Discord's making moves. Steam drowning in slop. All the slops. I've been PC gaming since the 1990s. We've always used the group platforms to coordinate our games. Yeah, I was more of a PC person. I mean, I did have some. I had what? I had like N64 and PS2. 360. Yeah, I had some consoles, but yeah, I mostly tried to play on PC.